Hi, I'm an old guy and I do maths. And today I want to discuss composite functions and um, basically explain what they are. Now, this is going to form one of three videos on composite functions because there are three things that you need to be aware of. And I'm going to run through them now, even though it might not make much sense. Well, the first thing you need to be aware of is what the composite function looks like and what a composite function is, I guess. Then you need to be able to figure out whether a composite function actually exists. And that's going to be the basis of the second video in this series. Thirdly, if you determine that a composite function may not exist, there are ways in which you can alter the domain of one of the functions that makes it up in order that the composite function might exist. Now, this will all make sense, I hope, by the time you get to the end of this series. But today what we're focusing on is what is a composite function and an explanation of this. So let's get into that. So let's start with what these actually say. This is said as f of g and g of f. And what a composite function is it's one function inside another. So here we have the function f of x, which is x squared plus 3x plus 1. And here we have the function g of x, which is 3x plus 1. It doesn't matter that this is a quadratic and this is linear, it matters not one jot. And what these two terms instruct us to do is to place one of these functions inside the other. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's have a look at f of g. Okay. So, remember that f of x was x squared plus 3x plus 1. So, what we do with f of g is we take the function of x, and wherever there is an x, we place this. So we wind up with 3x plus 1 squared instead of x squared, plus 3 times 3x plus 1 plus 1. So the 1 stays the same. We're replacing x in this expression with this entire expression. Now, f of g and g of x can be confusing terms. So there's another way of writing this that gives you a better idea of what's going on. If you look at it like this, we have our function of x here, and we're placing g of x, that, into it. I often think that this is a less confusing way in which to write these things, and certainly it's a good way to start out. Okay, so let's have a look at what g of f looks like. Now, you will recall that when we combine these as composite functions, one function sits inside the other. Now, up here we had g sitting inside f. Now we're going to do the opposite. So this is our main function here, and we're going to replace every value of x with what you see here. So the result is, and I haven't bothered to expand this because it's easier to see in an unexpanded form, instead of this being 3x plus 1, it becomes 3 into x squared plus 3x plus 1 plus 1. And that is the function g of f, sometimes written, and perhaps more comprehendibly written, as this, function of x within g. Okay, so that is how you create a composite function. That's the vocabulary for it, and you've seen both f of g and g of f, and you'll see how different they are. Now, as I said, this is forming part of a series on composite functions, and so number 2 will be about determining whether or not the composite function that we've come up with can actually exist. And look out for that. It'll be in the playlist. I hope you found this useful. If you did, thank you for watching. Even if you didn't, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you found this useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.